Okay, I came out, it tried to start the broadcast and came up with an error, but it says I'm live now. Did somebody put over there in the chat if in fact I'm live, and also if you can hear me okay? I'm waiting for somebody says I'm live, but I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I guess I am. Looks like I am. Okay, you can hear me and I'm live. Okay, good. So let me clear out a couple of these things over here. How's everybody doing tonight? It's a beautiful, been a beautiful week here in the Atlanta area. It's been overcast today, but we didn't get any rain. We're supposed to have a chance of some tonight. That's why I decided to come out here in the garage as opposed to the shop in case it did come up a rain, because I have a metal roof out there in the shop, and if it came down a good rain, it gets a little noisy. So I figure I'd just come out here. We just missed right out this window here. You just missed a beautiful sunset. Sunset's pretty much straight out that window. I don't know, you might be able to catch a little bit of it out there. But anyway, like I said, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody's had a good week. I've got that chat blown up. I swear I'm going blind because I've got it blown up huge, and I got a TV over there instead of just a computer monitor. I still can't half read it without my glasses, so I may be glancing over here a lot too. Tonight we're going to talk about a couple of things. I've got, this is our first Saturday of the month Q&A week, which we're going to start doing a lot of Q&As because I get a lot of questions, and it just makes sense to do more of these than to try to have some guests. But I got a comment by Lynn Kubera. I hope I'm saying your name right, and I hope maybe you're out there, Lynn. But he put a comment on one of the videos, and I don't know how he happened to hit that video because it was an older video. But I got the notification it was a comment, and he says he'd like to in the future show have me take a project with a specific pattern. I'm not exactly sure what he means there, and walk through how to get it into the computer and ready to carve. And then I also got an email from Jeff Connor. I think, yeah, he's out there, I think. Yeah, he's out there. How you doing, Jeff? And he asked, how do you nest parts for multiple projects or files onto a piece of sheet goods? So we'll try to cover as much of that as we can. I hope this thing is working all right. I keep seeing some looks like buffering over there a little bit, but you know what? I might better check, see which. I might have some virus. No, that's not right. Okay. Let me check to see. Okay, it's on the right Wi-Fi. Sometimes this laptop gets stuck on the Wi-Fi, but it's trying to pick it up from the shop out there. And when I'm in here in the house, it's a lot weaker. I have to make sure it switches to the Wi-Fi right here in the house. So I guess it's okay. I'm sure you guys will let me know if I'm having any problems with the feed or anything. David Mitchell from Kentucky. Let me just do a quick roll call real quick and some shout outs here. We've got Gary Brady, the Wood Bucket, Tony Pritchard, David Mitchell, David Stewart, Becca Miller, Frankie CNC and Woodworking Channel, Jeff Connor, Sean Draper, Jim Ridgway, our first winner of the Gatton CNC, Richard Kowalski from Detroit. How you doing, Richard? Keith Allen, That's another Gatton CNC winner. So Brent Poland, glad to have you all on here tonight. Has anybody got any questions about anything? You know, like I said, this is kind of the Q&A. Oh, it looks like Matt. I don't know why I always want to say Matt. Jat from Masso CNC Controllers is here in the chat. Totally Woodworking, Jim Senicola. How you doing, Jim? Good to see you on here. Does anybody have any questions that they want me to try to answer before we get started talking about this other stuff? And I see some folks in there talking about this book. I'm gonna tell you guys, you know, I keep harping on this book, but a lot of the questions, if you know, anybody's got any questions about VCarve Pro or Aspire or any of the Vectric products, the answers are all right in here pretty much. I mean, this is CNC Routers Essentials. I was looking through here and I didn't see anything, unless I missed it. I didn't see anything in here about nesting, but it does say, you know, this is kind of the basics. But any of the questions that are just kind of basic questions about any of the Vectric products, you know, like I said, I cannot stop bragging on this book because it's so awesome. And if you haven't got it, there's a link down below in the show description. Be sure and Dave Mitchell. There are two Dave Mitchells. I've got. I'm very careful. You know, when I do these giveaways, I'm very careful to try to make sure that it's a completely level playing field. I have a big pet peeve about folks who try to skirt the rules or something like that. And not that any of y'all would, I'm just saying. But I go that extra mile to try to make it a completely level playing field. And you know, when y'all send that entry form, I get it in an email and I just highlight it, copy, and then I go to paste it into the spreadsheet that I used. And then as soon as I put that person in there, I go up and do a search for that person's name to see if it pops up, see if they're already in there. And of course, when I did David Mitchell, it popped up twice, but it was a different, totally different address. So, yeah, that happens. There's two Dave Mitchells, I guess. How was the Go CNC? You're going to be hearing all about that in the near future. I did the unboxing video. I've shot a ton of video. But I went ahead and released the unboxing video yesterday, I guess it was. Yeah, yesterday. And I'll be releasing another one soon. I've already got it just about put together. I should be finishing it up tomorrow, and at least have it able to jog around and stuff. So pretty excited about that, and I think it's going to be a really neat little machine. But I'm not going to talk about it a whole bunch because I don't know a whole lot just yet. Like I said, I'm still putting it together. It's probably about 2/3 assembled. I haven't had a chance to work on it every day. And I know there was another guy from Germany that it was kind of funny because he did a live stream and he was going to try to assemble it during his live stream. And I think he released that like on April the 30th. So he did it a few days before mine. But I kept thinking when I found that video and I started to watch it, I'm thinking that, you know, because, you know, I wasn't watching it live, it was recorded. And it was like 2 hours and 40-something minutes. And I'm thinking, there's no way this guy puts this thing together in 2 hours and 41 minutes because there are a lot of screws, a lot of, you know, you're running wiring, you're doing a lot of different things. And anyway, of course, he, you know, during the live, he's talking to folks in the chat and stuff like that. And he didn't get nowhere near finished. And I think after about 2 hours and 40 minutes, he figured out that I'm not going to get anywhere. I'm going to go. And somehow he I don't know where he got it. He's a German, so he understands German and English. He was speaking in English for the live. But I don't know if it says somewhere, or maybe it says it in German, and I just haven't read it, or because I can't read German. But he said something about that it's supposed to take 20 hours to assemble. That's what they tell people, and that might be pretty close, because I probably got about 10 in it now, and I think I'm probably about 2/3 done. But this is it's totally different. You know, this is the first CNC that I've ever had to assemble that I didn't design. So when you design them yourself, it makes a big difference. You know where every screw go. You know, you don't have to keep referring back to the instructions or the manual or anything like that. You know, I designed these things, and when I'm building one of mine, I'm just throwing it together because I know exactly how it goes, because I've already, you know, for one now I've done it several times, but for another, when you design it, it's a whole different ball game. But as I'm having a ball, it's a lot of fun to do somebody else's design, and I think it's going to be really slick. Like I said, I don't want to talk about it a whole bunch yet, because you'll be seeing lots of them here in the future, videos and stuff. So anyway, hi Dave from CT, I guess that's Connecticut. Love my Gatton CNC. Thank you, Thomas. Brian Ballard in the house. Steve Misher. Dave, do you think that German machine is a bit expensive? I know y'all don't keep asking me questions about that. Give Jack a bone. Yeah, do you hear him? I guess he's just whining because he wants to come out here. But I've got wires all over the place. He might cash out of his place if I let him out here. As far as the price of the machine, let me just I'll tell you about this. This company approached me. I got an email from their marketing person sometime in March, about the end of March sometime. And I don't get a whole lot of offers for different things, but every once in a while I do. And most of the time I just click and hit delete. I don't even look at them because it's a lot of times it's something I'm not really interested in or whatever. But obviously, this being from a CNC company, my ears kind of perked up when I saw it. I'm like, well, I wonder what, you know, I see what they're wanting to do. But, you know, quite frankly, I had really not even heard of that company before, because they don't sell in the U.S. They don't have a reseller in the U.S. yet. And I just had, you know, I hadn't stumbled across any videos or anything like that. So I hadn't really heard of them. So before I answered the guy's email or deleted his email, I thought, well, let me at least go check him out. And I went to the website that he had a link in the email and started looking through the website, looking at the different machines. They have, I don't know if you guys have gone to that website and looked, but they have a ton of accessories. You know, you can put a bunch of different kind of spindles. You can put laser. You can, I mean, water-cooled spindles. I mean, you name the rotary axis. They have a ton of accessories for this machine. And the thing that, you know, a lot of times when I go look at other companies' CNC machines, I'm not impressed for one reason or another. But when I looked at that, and then I started watching some of the videos, or a few videos, a lot of them are in German. But when I started watching some of the videos and seeing this thing, and then looking at some of the pictures on the website where they show different angles of the machine, so you know, me being the way I am, I'm trying to figure out how it's all put together and everything. And I thought, that's pretty impressive. I like the way it looked. I like the way it's really clean. You don't see a bunch of wires and stuff going every which way. It's just a neat little, of course, the one I have is the small. They sent me the smallest machine. So it's not very big. The whole box, if you watch the unboxing video, you saw the box wasn't very big. The box weighed 10 kilograms, which is about 22 pounds. So it's very lightweight, which is kind of neat because you can pick the whole thing up and carry it in the house if you want. But it's just a real clean machine, but it's also very solid the way it's designed. Like I said, I was really impressed, and that's why I agreed to partner with them and have them send me a machine to check out. So I'm just rambling here. I'm not even watching the. Oh, good. Glad he is talking about Go CNC. Yeah, there's now getting back to the original question, which was, do I think they're expensive? No, I really don't. After you know, before I got mine, and I didn't get it until you know, I just opened the box last Monday, and I think it came a week ago Friday or something like that. And I was really anxious to just tear into it and open it up. I thought, well, now I got to wait until I'm ready to shoot video and stuff like that. But just watching their videos and stuff, I mean, it's just, there's quality all over it. I mean, it's, you know, you think of the German cars and stuff, how nice and expensive they are. This is a nice machine, but I don't think it's expensive for what you get. You know, and of course, I'll be able to review it a lot better once I've got it up and running. But don't spread that rumor yet, Brian. Not yet. Check your YouTube messages. Well, it may not be for me. Richard Morgan from Tulsa. Richard Smedley from Arkansas. All right, any other questions? Like I said, I don't want to talk about that thing all night because you'll be seeing videos and stuff on it here shortly. Hello, Dale. It's Dale. Yeah, Dale Ludlam in the house. How you doing, Dale? What do you say we all do a giveaway? Anybody up for a giveaway tonight? I've got the spreadsheet open back here. Becca Miller says yes. Well, if Becca says yes, then we're going to do a giveaway. So let's go ahead and do the giveaway. I'm going to, we had, if I can find it, 42 folks enter, and that's counting both Dave Mitchell's. 42 folks. So let me go find the, see if I can figure out how to do it here without getting everything lost. Okay, there's the random.org. So we're going to do 1 to 42. Is everybody with me? I can't see the chat anymore because I'll be able to see it in a minute. From 1 to 42, the first number is 24. Let's go see who 24 is. Well, I keep going past it. 24 is Gary Brady from Sumter, South Carolina. Gary Brady. I'm pretty sure he's out there. Gary Brady, you've got about 90 seconds. I didn't even set my phone yet. So I'm giving you some extra time, looks like. I didn't bother, yeah, I didn't even bother setting it because I knew you were here. Congratulations, Gary Brady. You're tonight's winner of the free Gatton CNC kit. And now what's going to be funny is later on, you know, because I noticed we have a trend on these shows. We start out with 50 or 60 people or so. We had, I think, 63 when I mentioned, hey, let's do a giveaway. And a lot of times we'll have 90 or 100, you know, by the end of the day. So all these people that go, oh, I got plenty of time, I'm going to tune in, you know, he waits until the end. Well, we fooled him today. Got to be watching the win. So congratulations, Gary. I got your information. I assume there's everything on there. Let's see. Yeah. Sumter, South Carolina. So I'll get that. Actually, I got to get one cut because I think I just shipped a whole bunch of them the other day. So, okay. Is Lynn Cabrera out there by any chance? I want to see if he's out there because I want to see if I can get, if I'm going to try to answer somebody's question, I want to make sure, close that out. Now where'd the, oh, it must be behind here. Oh, no, it didn't. Maybe I closed it out. All right, we got the chat going. That's all we need. Is Lynn Cabrera out there? Oh, I know one thing else too I wanted to ask. I want to see a show of hands or somebody, you know, y'all comment in the chat. I want to see how many people that watched last week's show and still haven't got their XML file backed up. That's up. Let's see a confession over there in the chat. How many people watched last week's show but still have not got their XML file backed up? Frankie says he did. Becca says she had it backed up already. Okay, good. I hope at least maybe some part of that show last week sunk in a little bit. But XML file, yeah, okay. Were you watching last week, Sean? Leo says his is backed up. Me, but I don't use Spot 3. Well, what, you know, whatever you're using, they probably have the same kind of deal. You know, you want that backed up. Okay. All right. So I don't think Lynn is out there. Got Charles Steed in the house. Let's see. We got more folks now than we had a while ago. Jeff Connor, if you're in the house still, Bubba Hogue. Richard Kowalski says, I think my whole life is in the cloud. Yeah. I don't put anything on the cloud. I got it scattered out everywhere. That's the problem. Sometimes I don't know which computer it's on or which external hard drive or which thumb drive or whatever. I know I got it somewhere and I have to look. Eventually I'll find it. Okay, Jeff's still here. Jeff, your question was, how do you nest parts from multiple projects or files onto a piece of sheet good? I'm going to try, I guess I'll do a screen share and try to show you. I mean, it's not hard. Do you already have like a DXF file for each part that you're trying to bring in there? Steve says I should put the dog on camera with me. I got two big old dogs, and the one that's making noise in there he's like a bull in a china shop. So maybe I'll get him out here in a little bit. Let y'all take a look at him. Jeff says, yeah, okay, so you have DXF files. Okay, well, I'll explain it, and then if you still need me to do a screen share, I'll be happy to do that too. If you have DXF files, I'm assuming you already know how to import a DXF file into whatever it is you're using. VCarve Pro, I'm assuming. Again, this is going to take a little bit because I'm waiting for his response. I know there's a little bit of a lag. But it's basically the same thing. If you've got DXF files for each part, you just go to, and like I said, I'm assuming you're using VCarve Pro or whatever Vectric product. You would just go to that import vector file, find that DXF, bring it in, and you can do that as many times as you need to. You know, if you've got 5, I keep looking over here, 5 different parts that you want to put together on a nest. Okay, VCarve Pro. You know, you can just import all 5 of those in. Mike Fulton in the house. How you doing, Mike? Yeah, so you basically just, now Jeff, let me know. I'm assuming you know how to pull in the first one, right? Go to import, drop down, and it'll say import vector file. And then you go find the DXF, and it'll bring it right in. I can show you I've got a couple of things over here. In fact, I've even got this laptop that I'm doing the broadcast on. I've even got it connected where I can run the machine from it. Okay. Patrick Workshop in the house. Hello, Patrick's. How you doing? David Stewart says, I have AutoCAD. From my construction days, it's a DWG file format, but can't convert it to DXF. Yeah, with AutoCAD, you can save it as a DXF or a DWG. No, you won't be able to get by without VCarve, David, because you need VCarve to put up, or that or some other kind of programming software. AutoCAD is just a well, I guess the newer stuff, Fusion has got where you can post code with it, but I don't even count that. You really need VCarve Pro. But if you're using an older version of AutoCAD and just creating a DWG or DXF file, that's great. You can use that for drawing if you're already used to drawing in that, but then you need to bring it into either VCarve Pro and Art Day says, let's get back to subject on hand and leave that Go CNC for a Go CNC show. Yeah. I think we were already done talking about Go CNC. But anyway, let me go ahead and do a screen share here. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. And I'll try to keep an eye on the chat too. So if anybody's got any questions or whatever. Okay, so here somewhere, I got a couple of DXF files right here that I'm going to use for this little demonstration. So let me open up VCarve Pro. Charles Lawrence in the house. Okay, so I've got my Vectric open here, and I want to create a new file. And again, let's see, I better make this bigger. Let's make this, I don't even know how big those parts are. We'll just say 15 by 15. 3/4 thick. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, so we're gonna just start off with this. Now, Jeff, if you got any questions or want to know something while I'm in here, I can still see the chat, so just throw it up there and we'll take a look at it. And I assume y'all can see my screen, right? Somebody let me know. I'm going to go ahead. I'm assuming you can. All right, so once you've set up your material, and again, I just made up a size, I want to come to File, Import Vectors. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that desktop, and one of them was called Straight Arm, and I'm going to bring that in. Okay, so there, I may not have made that sheet big enough. Nah, I didn't really. Okay, we'll make it a little bigger. I'm having to work without a mouse too because I've got all my USB ports full. So let me go back up here. Let's just make this 20. There we go. Okay, so now that part fits. All right, so Jeff, you with me so far? I've brought in one part, and now if I want to bring in another part, I can come back to this File, Import Vectors, and I can go to this other part, which is a different part, and I can tell it to bring that in. So you can do this as many times as, however many parts you want to put in here. And so that's how you get the files in there to, to create your nest. Now, if you've got a whole bunch of different parts and you don't know how many will fit on a sheet or whatever, so you want to just use that nesting feature. I'm going to be quite honest. I really haven't used that nesting feature that much, for the simple reason is most of the time, since we're with, we're running CNC routers, we're normally cutting wood. Now, if it's MDF or maybe plywood, and you'll see why I say maybe here in a minute. The thing about the nesting, to get the best nest, is when you tell it that it can take the part and flip it and turn it any kind of which way to make it fit on the sheet. That's when you'll get the best yield out of the material. But when you're doing stuff with wood, a lot of times there's, a grain direction consideration you have to take into account. And even with plywood, if you're making different parts out of plywood, it may still look funky, even though it might still be as structurally sound, but it may look funky if you've got a long, narrow part and the grain is running the wrong direction on that, not running the long length of it. So that's why I don't usually use the nesting feature with VCarve Pro. It works excellent, but to me, it's not that big a deal because of the kind of stuff I cut. I'm usually not cutting a bunch of different shaped parts out of MDF or something like that, or plastic or something where it wouldn't make any difference which way it turned it. Now you can set it up to, say, well, only turn it at 0 and 180 or something, so that way it'll flip it to make it fit better, but it's still going to have the same grain because it's flipping at 180 degrees. And like I said, to me, it's a good little feature. It works well, but I just don't ever use it that much because with what I do, I know how I want to put them a certain way. Just like these kits, when I cut these kits out of for the Gatton CNCs, even though they're plywood, I know they look better if the grain, on that sheet of veneer, top layer veneer, is running in the direction where the parts are long. It just like it was a solid piece of wood, you want the grain running down a long way. Because if you cut a piece of, let's say you cut a piece of pine, for example, if you cut a piece of pine and you've got a long piece, but you cut it where the grain's running on the shorts, running up and down on the short side instead of the long side, it's going to snap. You know, it's not going to be structural at all. It's going to break on you. So anything else you need me to do while I'm in the screen share, Jeff? Let me know. I got a message, helpful review, so I don't know what that was said. Got it, Dave. Okay. All right, so I'm going to come out of the screen share. So like I said, Jeff, it's really quite easy. It's the same way you bring one part in. It's just you can bring in as many as you want to. So let me get out of this. Does anybody else have any other questions? Well, I'm actually getting out now, so. There we go. We're back. Go ahead and nest the parts. Nest the parts. That isn't nesting. That's just different. Yeah. Well, it's nesting if you rearrange them on the sheet the way you want and bring in different things. Like I said, the nesting feature. A nesting feature, you use that all the time in sheet metal. You know, we had back when I was working full time in a sheet metal shop, we used it all the time because it would automatically nest the parts, and we'd have weird shaped parts, and that's what you want. You're not concerned with grain direction in metal. You're just trying to get as many parts out of that sheet as you can. Nest a bunch of well, if it's all of the same part, you could call that a nest technically, I guess, but it's more of an array, either a linear array, or if it's something you might be doing around, it's a circular array. It's it's not really the same thing as, when I think of nest, I think of a lot of different parts. So if y'all want me to go back and add, like I just put 2 parts in there, I could go back in and add, like say 5 of one and 3 of the other, and then show you how it nests, and show you how the nesting feature works if you want. It's really, I tell you what, I really don't like doing a lot of vector type tutorials, because there's already great tutorials out there. I mean, by Vector, not of course there's a lot of other folks that do them too, but I always encourage somebody, if you want to learn something about the Vectric software, who better to learn it for than the Vectric folks themselves. The software has where you can go straight to the tutorials straight from the software. And the Vectric tutorial folks talk a little funnier than I do. Well, they might not, I guess, depending on your point of view. But yeah, they have the best tutorials. Anything else? You probably will get tired of seeing the side of my face because I keep looking over here. I got that open there, but getting tough to read it. Richard Kowalski says, Dave, have you ever had a problem with your spindle bearings getting hot and water getting real warm? No, I have not. And I will tell you, y'all can see my spindles right back there. We got the 2 water lines. You can't quite see it, but right where my finger's pointing, there's a plastic coffee thing that's full of lead type. I got from somebody gave me what was it called? A printer's cabinet. And it had all this lead type where you put, typeset stuff. So all that's in there, and that's sitting on top of, as well as the pink stuff you see beside it in that jug. That's some RV antifreeze. Well, right below it's a 5-gallon bucket. I got a wood lid that I made just sitting on it, and that's all I use for my cooling. And I'm here in the Atlanta area, so it gets plenty hot here, and I don't have any air conditioning out here. I do have the fan. You can't quite see it. It's right there. That blows. And then I have another floor fan down here that I keep kind of pointed up underneath my table, because when it's really hot, my controller is up under here. So I use that fan to help circulate air, because I'm more worried about my controller getting hot and missing steps than I am the spindle. But my spindle has never gotten more than, I can't even call it warm. It's like when you first turn it on, or come out here, it might feel almost cool to the touch. And after that, it just feels like room temperature, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't even call it warm. So yeah, if you've got a spindle and it's starting to get kind of warm, you need to check your lines, blow them out or something, make sure something clogged up. I still have not I bought some clear hose over there, and Hobby brought me one of those little plastic things you put in there. It's got so you can see it spinning to know you've got water flowing, and I still have not added it on there. But my method of checking temperature is basically doing this. As it's running, I'll reach over and just touching, and it's never gotten more than, like I said, just kind of whatever the ambient temperature is. If it's hot out here, when I say hot, like 90 degrees or so, it might be that warm, but it hasn't ever got hot. And I run mine, when I come out here and run this thing, I don't just come out here and run, a little bit. Usually when I fire this thing up, it's running a good 10, 12 hours a day. Because I try to, while I'm out here doing it, I just keep it loaded up and going. Any other questions? Dave, will you be helping Hobby next week with his live show? No. I don't know if I think he's talked about getting a panel and stuff, but I really don't care anything about being on somebody else's show. Sometimes I don't even like doing this one. I enjoy it once I get out here doing it, but just like you guys don't realize how much trouble it is sometimes to set up all this stuff just for an hour show every week. And if I've got, depending on what I'm going to talk about, it's kind of like homework. You got to get your stuff ready. And so because of all that, no, I don't care nothing about being on anybody else's show. He hadn't asked me anyway, but I would tell him no if he did, because I'm just not interested in that. Mark Lindsay, CNC, says, just got back from getting there. What was that middle part, Dave? I don't know what middle part we're talking about. Okay, well, I guess if nobody has any questions, we'll wrap this up. It's what time is it? That's 8:44. It's longer than I thought. Yeah, we've got 73. Maybe word's already got out that the drawing's over, so we won't be getting those people that come sneaking in at the last minute. But all right, anybody else got any other questions? As long as it's not a Go CNC question. I don't see anything. Becky Miller, workaholic. I'm not sure who that's for. Dave, are you running Mach 3 on Windows 10? Yes, I am. Well, I am on this laptop. And I have this all connected where, you know, if you needed me to run the machine or do something, I could do it. But yeah, it'll run on Mach 3. Now I use the, well, since I got the camera on, y'all can see it. Right here. Yeah, I gotta look at the right laptop. Here's my UC 100, one of two that I have. And you know, I've said this before, I'm gonna keep saying it. Even if you have a old clunker computer that has a parallel port, and you're thinking, well, I'm just going to keep using that, I'm not going to buy one of those things. And, you know, I'm telling you, the thing will run way better when you hook one of those up. Okay, which do you prefer, the UC100 or the Ethernet smooth stepper? No doubt the UC100. Now, when you say Ethernet smooth stepper, I'm assuming you're talking about that other brand, not the Ethernet UC whatever it is, because there's a 300 and a 400, and one of those I think you can get with the Ethernet. I'm just not a fan of the Ethernet stuff because of my experience with the Ethernet smooth stepper, which I should do a giveaway on that. I've still got the thing around here somewhere. I don't even know where it's at. But if I could find it, I probably should do a giveaway, give that to somebody, maybe they can use it. It's just that I found that the UC100 is just so much easier to set up than that Ethernet thing. And maybe it's because I didn't have a dedicated computer that I was using it on. I suppose if you had a dedicated computer in your shop, once you set it up and then you weren't having to fool with it anymore, that would be great. But I was using it with a laptop, and so I would get it set up for the smooth stepper, and then when you know, when I'd go to take the laptop and want to get online, I'd always have to go back and change some things, and then I'd come back to use the smooth stepper again, and it was always I couldn't get it to work seamlessly, and maybe it was just me, I don't know. But yeah, Michael Chipser says, I personally prefer the UC400 or ESS, Ethernet smooth stepper. Multiple ports to add. Yeah, it does come with you know, a place to add different things. But you know, to me, this, yeah, you don't have a, you know, you don't have any other place to put things. But I mean, a breakout board's like 10 or 15 bucks. So this is really, really easy. And if if you're going to use one of those, maybe you're not going to run limit switches or homing switches or any of that other stuff. Charles Steed says, I finally bought a UC100 and love it. Would recommend it. Yeah, I know Jerry was saying, he posted on Facebook the other day that what was it he got, Michael? The UC400, I think, and he was just bragging how smooth everything was running. And I'm thinking to myself, I've been telling folks, you know, even if you've got an old clunker with a parallel port, go ahead and buy one of those anyway, because it runs so much better with those kind of motion controllers. Still have to use Win 32-bit, right? All right, now it's coming quick. Now this is 64-bit. I can fire it up for you if you want. This is on this laptop that I'm using to broadcast. It's Windows 10 64-bit, but I'm running the UC 100. Let me just let me see if I can fire it up here. And fortunately, all I had to do was add my XML file to get this to work right. I actually, for some reason, had taken Mach 3 off of here, so when I put it back on here, all that other stuff was gone, so I had to go around and get my different, yeah, 32-bit is only required on a Windows 7 machine using a parallel port. You can use any 64-bit, as long as you're using a UC100 or something like that. Yeah, the UC100 eliminates the need for a 32-bit operating system. Okay, so I didn't know whether y'all want to see the screen or turn on my drive box here. You might hear the familiar clunk. And I'll hit my reference all home. And you can see all my stuff. I'm one of those weird folks. I like to put my home position back there out of the way, so it's back and to the right. Dave mentioned I couldn't get Mach 3 to work on my 64-bit. Were you using a parallel port? Trying to use a parallel port? Anyway. So Mach 3 works just fine with a 64-bit Windows 10 if you're using some other kind of thing, not the parallel port. That's why I love my UC100s. It's so easy. Yeah, I just because it's all the same difference, Mark. A lot of people like to do it in the lower left-hand corner, and I just don't want the dadgum thing up here in my way. I like to, when I finish a run and I know I'm done for the day, I go ahead and hit reference all home, and that way it moves everything, gets it out of the way. It's not in my way when I'm trying to take the blank off. And then the next time, where you saw when I turned this on and started up, I hit reference all home, and it just beep, 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 it's done, because it's already there, basically. I like to use my table a lot of times to stack stuff on or do a project on or whatever. So I like having it out of the way. And it's the same, it really doesn't make any difference where you make your home position. It's basically, it's just your machine knowing where it's at. That's all that matters. Because my numbers, when you can't see them now. Well, I didn't zero anything out either, so they're all zeros. But the CMM I use at work uses the back left top corner. But yeah, it's all in how the machine's configured. It doesn't matter where it's at, front corner, right, left or right, back corner, left or right, doesn't make any difference. It's all in how the machine is configured and set up. As long as you say, all right, that's my home, so now I know everything else coming this way is, it's got to come back this way, so you go farther that way. It doesn't matter. It's all in how it's configured. How do you set the all home to a preferred location? Yeah, machine doesn't care, just needs to know where it's at. Sam, basically on this machine, I have 3 homing switches, because I got 3 axes that move. Yeah, hold on, Jim, hold that thought. I'll show it here in just a second. I can grab this camera swing it around, and I can. It's nothing fancy, I can assure you, but I can swing it around and show you most of them. I think I'll bring the gantry way up forward. But all I did, Sam, was I put my switches. I've got one at the top mounted to a piece of angle. You can't see it, but I'm gonna grab the camera here in a minute to show that. And I've got the one for the x-axis on another piece of angle over here. And then I've got the third one mounted down here. It may be tough to see, but it's mounted down here on this back corner on the right. So basically, all I'm doing is in Mach 3, and I'm sure you see CNC software works the same kind of way. You have to tell it which way to go. When you hit reference all home, you have to say, I want you to move in the positive direction. For example, mine, let me see if I can pull that up here. Let's see. Well, there's a way to tell it in Mach 3. For example, if I wanted this to be my 0 or my home position, the lower left, every time the machine is out there and you reference at home, it's going in a negative direction. And there's a place in the homing motor home soft limits thing where there's a column that says home negative. Well, all mine are turned off because I don't want mine to home negative. I want it to home positive. So everything mine does, for example, the Z goes up, which is positive. It's negative when it goes down. So it goes up. In fact, let me get out of here. I'll show it one more time. I'm going to bring this up just a little bit. Come on here. And then I'll bring this. Okay, so hopefully you're watching, Sam. So now when I hit reference all home, oh, silly me. I'm touching my screen. I keep forgetting. See, I'm usually using that touch screen over there. It's usually how I run this machine. But my laptop won't do it. So I hit reference all home. First thing it does is Z goes up, makes that switch, comes down, Y goes back, makes that switch. Now the X will come over and make that switch. But the only reason it goes that way is because I don't have a green check where that home negative is. If I wanted to make a reference up here, I would put a green check. Well, I'd still want my Z to reference home up, obviously. So I would leave it negative or turned off, the negative turned off where it's going positive. And then I would just put a green check in the X and the Y, and then every time I hit reference all home, it would come this way and this way, looking for a switch. So yeah, see, you know, Mark's talking about he ran the CNC for 2 years last week. I've run one for, well, that old Sidewinder I got, it still doesn't have one. I ran it for about 12 years and never put any, I mean, I had nothing. That was a bare bones thing. I didn't even have drag chain to keep the wires straight or anything. Okay, let me get off of this. Okay, I think I can maybe take this camera off of here and stretch it around here. Let's see how much wire I got. Okay, you're probably getting a good view of my hand. All right, let me drop this down so I can see what I'm showing here. Okay. Here, we'll start with the Z. Like I said, this is nothing fancy. I probably should have done it from this side where you can see it better. But I have a piece. Well, it's not here. All right, I don't know what's going on here. It's oh. I guess y'all can still hear me. That I was stepping on my cable and the oh, here we go. There we go. Okay, we're back in business. I'll try not to step. I've got an extension USB cable on this thing and I stepped on it. Got to unplug this camera. Okay, so here is my Z axis, and you can see I've just got those HDPE spacer blocks that I have my stepper motor setting on. I just tapped the hole. That stuff is great because you can tap it real easy. So I've got just tap the hole and run a screw in it. I've got the screw set so that when it goes up, it catches the head of that screw, trips the switch, and then it comes back down just enough to get off the switch. So that's my Z axis, Jim Sinicola. Now, let me swing around here, make y'all drunk for a little bit. This is the one. Let's see if I can get it here. Yeah. This is the one for my X axis. It's right here. And you can see I've moved off about 3 or 4 inches here. So it will come over, contact this, trip that switch, and then move back off. Again, nothing fancy. Just mounted on a piece of aluminum angle that I had left over and found something to make it touch. Okay, now this one may get a little hard to see because it's dark up under here. Let's see. That's probably not going to show up at all. Let's see if I can. Yeah, I don't think you can see it. I can't see it anyway. But it's another piece of aluminum angle, and it's just, I've got this other little piece of, yeah, you can kind of see that. I just got a piece of metal. Let's see if I can point to it. Right here. Right here. Kind of hanging down where it'll catch that switch. So that was kind of hard to see because it's dark up under there. So let me see if I can get this camera strapped back up here without. I don't remember how I had it on there. Okay. So there's my very simple, not fancy at all switches. And I only put 3 of them on there. Because, you know, I know a lot of people, they'll put them on both ends and front and back and all that because they're worried about crashing the machine. I'm going to tell you, if you run this machine for 6 months and you're still crashing stuff, you might want to think about trying something else because it's not really that hard. You learn where the things in. I mean, I ran one for 12 years without any kind of switches. So Let me go back and get this thing back out of the way. Okay, looks like we've got another Linux CNC user out there. Just, how many folks, I know Rob and apparently Keith is, but how many other folks use Linux CNC? Jim Sanfella. No, I do not use soft links. I don't even have them set up on this machine. And I did set them up in my GarageWorks that's out there in my shop. And I never really use them. They're there, but I keep them turned off. So. All right, we should be getting about to the top of the hour here. Yeah, we're a little after 9. Anybody got any other questions before we get out of here? Jeff, I hope I got your question answered about the nesting. Yeah, because from what I'm gathering your question, I think you just want to put different parts into the same sheet. It's basically just pull them all in, and then moving them around. I don't see any other questions popping up here, so. Well, thank you, Keith. I tell you that sometimes I feel like I really haven't done much out here. Okay, Andrew says he uses the soft limits and homing switches he hardly ever uses. Yeah. Really, the only time I use the my homing switches is like what I did just then. When I reference all home that first time, that's really the only time they're used until the end of the day when I'm ready to send it back on. Because the rest of the time I'm not even using it. What feed and speed would you run on 3/4 MDF with a 1/4 inch ball nose mill? Well, how deep are you going to go? And here we get back to that. Again, I absolutely hate giving people advice on feed speed because I know how fast I would run it, how deep I would run it, and all that. But, it just, MDF cuts pretty easy. It's messy, so make sure you run dust collection and or a mask over your face. That stuff is nasty. Have I thought about using the probe? Not a probe like what I think you're talking about, but I have the touch plate that I use to set my sleeve. But I think you're talking about one to put something on there and have it go around. That takes a long time, though. Thanks, Dave. Do you have any 3D parts to show? The only thing I really have, don't have much out here. Most of the stuff I had out here has already made it to the fire pit. This is just some stuff. This is one of those. No, maybe this isn't one of the free vector ones. I got this file from somewhere, and this is, you can see this is an old raggedy board. I think this was a step off my front porch or something that I replaced. And I put this in. I don't know how good that's showing up. I guess you can see it pretty good. So I did it like this on this side, and then I did it a different way on the other side. Just playing around, not really, this isn't anything. This will end up in the fire pit. I'm surprised it hadn't already got in there. And then the only other 3D thing I have out here is if I can turn it around here. That little cabinet has got a 3D carving, like an eagle. That was for the pallet challenge that I did last year. And that's one of that eagle is one of the free Vectric files that come with VCarve Pro. I'll show you my nuts here real quick. Somebody wanted to see them earlier. So your mistakes you burn. Your mistakes burn twice. Okay. Real quick before we get out of here, before he tears this up. When I'm doing these lives and you hear a dog barking, most of the time it is this guy right here, this black one. This is Jack. Rocky is the more mellow of the two if he'll hold still. He's the chocolate. So I got Black Jack and Rocky Top. And that's pretty much my kids. Oh yeah, he brought that. Yeah, I have when I open the door, he brings me the calm. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed because he's just running the house and I didn't even throw it. So anyway, I guess we don't have any more questions. Okay, Becky surgery. Yeah, Becky, I hope everything goes well. You ought to be good as new before long because you have all kinds of stuff worked on. You like a bonded woman or something. I was talking about the board I carved. Yeah, that was just to play around and test out that file. There wasn't anything to save anyway. So most of the stuff I do is, just to, where I'm showing somebody the capabilities of the machine or something like that. And I don't care about saving. And I use a little junky piece of wood like that. But anyway, all right. If there's no other questions, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off of here. The boys are getting restless. I hope, like I said, I feel like I didn't do a whole lot tonight. I hope Jeff and I really wanted to go through that other question that Lynn Rivera asked about, but since he wasn't even on here tonight, I hate when somebody asks a question and I get ready to do it for the show, and they're not here, because then I'm like, okay, next week they're gonna go, hey, you gonna do that? I already did. So, all right, yeah, just a lot of interesting remarks. Yeah, Mark Graves, do you have, I see your comment about parking in the middle so that you don't have any sagging or acme rods. When you build a really big machine, that's probably not a bad idea. And I'm guessing you don't have any kind of homing switches or anything to worry about anyway. Not that it would matter, you can still home it when you turn it on, but I just love having mine back there, because like I said, when I get done, I just hit reference all home, and while it's moving back, I'm unclamping it, running the shop back for whatever the dust collection didn't get. So, all right. Well, again, congratulations to, let's see, one that get away. already forgot. Gary Brady. Congratulations to Gary Brady for being the winner this week. And I hope, like I said, I hope when y'all tune in to watch this, you tune in early because you never know. I said that from the beginning. You never know when I'm going to do the giveaway or if I'm even going to do one. Most of the time, I'm probably going to do one, but it might be at the beginning of the show, it might be in the middle, it might be at the end. And it seems like every time we get started talking, y'all get to asking me questions, and I lose track of time. Next thing I know, it's 20 after 9 or something, and we haven't done the giveaway. So we always seem to do them right at the end. But I thought I'm going to try to fool some folks this week. We'll do it early. So congratulations. Says I'm still live.